Hey there, Cheesemeisters, and welcome back to the Peach Pod After Dark. I'm Jeff, and a man in a really nice camper also wants to put my song on the radio, so I'm signing whatever you got. And joining me on the other end of the internet, my host.
I'm Leslie, and table 19, your pizza's ready?
I love it. All right, I'm taking my sunglasses off. We had the shades up to start the episode.
People want.
That's right. That's right. We give the people what they want here.
Hey, you look good in blue. Have I ever said you look good in blue?
You look good in black. Have I ever told you that?
Oh, thanks.
That's really funny. This week, Cheesemeisters, we are doing That Thing You Do, the 1996 Top of the Pops masterpiece, written, directed, and starring Tom Hanks, Tom Everett Scott in his first professional film role, Liv Tyler, Charlize Theron, Jonathan Skeech, I don't know, Steve Zahn, Ethan Embry, and Giovanni Ribisi before he broke his arm.
Oh.
Fucking around on the parking meters.
Oh, yeah, that's right, that's right.
Yeah. We are watching this in conjunction with Season 3, Episode 6, Castles in the Sand, because David got himself into bed with the Sanders Management Company. It's a mistake. Don't sign your life away, David.
You live, you learn.
That's right. And our spelling connection is Tom Hanks himself. He was on an episode of Love Boat. So it's exciting that we're going to literally be able to watch whatever Tom Hanks movie we want for the rest of the time.
Oh, darn.
I know, right? It's tough for us.
So tough.
All right. So I've seen this movie. You've seen this movie, right? This isn't a first timer for you?
This is another second timer.
Oh, a second timer. Okay. So tell me where do we meet you? Where does this film meet you? Are you yay that thing you do? Are you somewhere else? Okay. Good.
I really like this movie. Which is funny because it wasn't sold to me as a good movie, but I really enjoy it. It's delightful.
Okay, so how was this sold to you then? Someone's like, watch this piece of garbage?
No,
Hours, you sucker.
No, it was just like, oh yeah, that movie's okay. And I thought, oh, well, all right.
I'm going to guess that the person who recommended this movie to you was roughly your age.
No, I got that information from my mom because it was on TV a lot. And she was like, oh, this movie's okay. And this is totally her kind of movie. So
it really is. This is very much especially for people who grew up listening to music in the 60s, this is like mother's milk shit. Like, this is right in the wheelhouse.
For someone who was always asking me to please sing happier songs on my YouTube channel.
Oh, see?
Right up her alley.
Yeah, she would have loved this shit. This makes no sense.
No.
All right, your mom has confounded me. I'm going to call my mom and tell her to tell your mom that she has confounded me.
You are not the first person to have expressed this.
Confounded. So I like this movie too. I've seen it more than twice, but not a lot more than twice. 3-4 times.
Yeah.
And like the song is just fucking perfect, and we're going to talk about that song probably 1,000 times today, so we don't need to dwell right up front. But this song is great. The performances are really good. Steve Zahn's hilarious.
I love him. He's great.
He nails every line delivery in this movie. He's so funny. He has just out of the side zingers. They're just like, well, I didn't see that one coming. Nice job, Steve Zahn. Good job, DJ Dave. So do you know the how of this movie, the backstory of this movie? Like, why Tom Hanks came to write this film?
I know not.
Okay. So I'm going to tell a little story that millions of people are familiar with. You are probably not one of them, and I'm guessing a lot of our listeners aren't either, because it's a Beatles story. When the Beatles were getting ready to go on their 1964 world tour, I think this is after they'd done America, they're back. They're getting ready to, next stop Denmark kind of thing. Ringo gets tonsillitis and some other kind of itis, got really sick and couldn't travel. And it was too late to cancel the tour. So George Martin says, let's get a session drummer from EMI down here, and we'll send him as a replacement on tour with you guys for the next, whatever week or so until Ringo feels better. And so they called up this guy, Jimmy Nicol. And, he came in, he learned like 6 of their songs, and then went on tour. And this is months after the Ed Sullivan Show. Like, this is height of Beatlemania. This is, they are the number one thing on the planet. John, Paul, George, and fucking Jimmy. Right? So, like, Tom Hanks, like, grows up knowing this story. He was a Beatles fan in the 60s. And when I hear that story, one, I think poor Ringo. Like, poor Ringo, just sad, sitting at home. Oh, the lads are off. And then, the lads being sad that Ringo's not there and just fucking dealing with Jimmy. But Tom Hanks read it and thought, what an amazing week in the life of Jimmy Nicol.
Right.
And that is sort of what got at it for him. This, like, replacement drummer comes in, and then, like, that's the trigger for this one-hit wonder. Now, obviously, that's not the Beatles story. They were the biggest band in the world, and Jimmy fucked right on back home. And, Ringo joined the boys, and, here we are. But it's interesting, like, the fact that he took that and said, now I want to find a way to tell a story about all those one-hit wonders from the 1960s who just blew up and immediately faded away. And how, like, I didn't really remember this being like the arc of this. I mean, I remembered that they had one song and that was it, and only one song and that was it, and they were done. In my head, that's a sad arc, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, our song's on the radio. We're on tour. We've got a new manager. We're wearing these outfits and staying first class, and everything's awesome. And then it's over, and womp womp. But that's not this movie. I mean, all those things happened except for the womp womp part at the end. You're not left feeling like this was sad.
No, Tom Hanks puts a beautiful spin on it. Like, I feel, I don't know how this is able to get me, because I feel, I don't know, I'm such a sucker for the sad stuff anymore. But I guess lately I've been trying to, like, get out of that habit and, find more of the joy in my own stuff. And we do need more stories like this that are just, hey, they had an amazing run. They did something that many others haven't even gotten close.
Yeah.
And it ends so nicely.
Yeah. And instead of being sad that they missed their chance to have a follow-up, this is about the glory of that bloom into, like, just riding this wave of excitement until the wave crashes. And then, like, you become a session player, which is like Shades' dream.
Yeah.
Like, he ends this movie in the best possible place. He's playing session drums with jazz musicians.
Yeah.
Like, it's what this guy wanted. He never wanted to, be Ringo. He wanted to, I don't know, be jazz drum guy whose name I can't think of right now. And he gets to. And what's his ass, the lead singer, he eventually gets what he wants to after he quits the band. He gets to make his record.
Yeah.
Like, he continues on, because this isn't what he wanted to do either. Like, this was a slow number until
he didn't want to sell out.
No, he did, and he had a point all along, right? When are we going to get in the studio? When are we going to get to record new music? I've got songs. I don't just want to be this. And this isn't a story about these guys getting taken advantage of. No. Which it very much could be. And that's a story you're very possibly going to experience on the flagship program as things advance in the lives of.
Oh dear. I feel like so we've now watched The Doors and Almost
Yes.
Famous,
Yep.
and there are things from this. There are things from those movies that I remembered as I watched this because, like, in discussing the ending, you know,
Mhm.
Almost Famous even has a happier ending than we would imagine it would. You know, this band goes through a tumultuous time, and we don't even know if they make it necessarily, but
Right.
there's see them still enjoying it and still making music, and like that's really all we need. That's all they
Yeah.
need, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I was thinking about this too. Uh, just as I was thinking about this movie, how bands are unlike anything else that I can think of. In that, like, it's a group of people who come together for a common purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're drawn together to make music, and what comes out of them only can come out of them, right? It's the alchemy of those people are needed to make this happen, whatever
Yeah.
this is, whatever this song is. And that's true of a lot of things, like that part anyway. That's true of, baseball teams in the heat of the pennant drive. That's true of like guys in combat in war, right? Like they're brought together, they work together, they become kind of this family. It's a common purpose. um it's how I understand it to be on most movie sets. People come together, they form these really tight connections. They're like, what comes out of what is created can only be created by this group of people. You replace one person, you get a different movie, you know
Yes, I'm gonna disagree slightly and say that in the acting world, I feel like the closest you get to creating what a band creates is on a TV series.
Okay. And I
Because
think that's sort of, yeah, go ahead.
well, just they form, they get a chance, that group of characters, that group of people have a
Hmm.
chance that people in say a movie or a play don't have, in that that is a
Hmm.
limited production. TV of
Yes.
course is finite as well, but they have
Hmm.
time to really build bonds both as characters, as actors. I mean,
Hmm.
and you look at, I mean, no matter what you feel about Friends now, you can't deny that is one of the most like synchronistic, the most,
Sure.
one of the casts with the best chemistry out
Yeah.
there. The
Hmm.
Office is up there.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, TV lends itself to that so much better than I think a movie or a
It
play.
does. And the TV show is the closest thing to the band, because here's where the band is different. We expect the band to stay together forever.
Yeah.
We never expect that of a TV show. Like, even the best TV show ends at some point, unless it's The Simpsons and it's 35 years later.
But we do expect them all to still be friends.
We do, yeah, but we don't always expect them to continue working together.
True.
And in a band, especially a band you love, you always expect them to stay together, even if they're 60.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this because I was listening to Marrakesh Express by Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Oh.
It's a great song. Google it up, everybody. Uh, Crosby, Stills and Nash are they're magic. Like, those three voices together are unlike anything in the world. And then they added Neil Young, which like added this whole other dynamic to it, which made it different but very interesting. And he harmonized his guitar playing in ways that the other guys harmonized their voices.
Wow.
And this group of guys created magic. And um I can't remember if it was Steven Stills or Graham Nash that were on Howard Stern, but it was one of them. And Howard was asking him, uh, how would you like to, like getting back together? What's it like to sing with those guys? What's it like to be with those guys? And he said, it's really great to be with two of them.
Oh
And
no.
oh yeah, they fucking hated David Crosby, hated him, and but we wanted them not to hate him. Like we wanted that to continue for their entire lives. I would love it if Paul and Artie were the best of friends and we could still get Simon and Garfunkel music. Even though I love solo Paul Simon stuff, I wanted more of that. We don't get it. The Beatles broke up. I want the Beatles together now. Now it's impossible. Two of them are gone, but like we have that expectation of bands in a way that we don't have an expectation of that for anything else. And that's why this movie is interesting in that way, because this magic happens when Ringo gets sick and Jimmy Nichols comes into play.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen with the Beatles because it's fucking Ringo. You can't replace Ringo.
No.
But they create this magic moment together, and they cannot stay together. One of them's going off to the army. He's replaced before they even get out of Idaho or whatever.
Yeah.
With the Marines. I guess he was going to the Marines. I don't remember exactly.
And
they brought in, what was his name? Wolfman or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the lead singer quits and the band's over and it's done. But we want the band to continue.
Of course.
I mean, I wish REM put it away 16 years ago. And they still are good friends and really like each other and have no interest in going out and playing more music together. And it makes me so sad. I want more. Even though what they gave me is foundational to who I am as a person. I want more of it. It's never enough.
Yeah.
So the band thing is interesting, and that there's no way that dynamic can live.
No.
For 40 years unchanged.
No, because for that to happen, I mean, it's no more realistic than expecting your best friend, your childhood best friend, to still be your best friend into adulthood. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that can happen. Good for you all. Like, I'm lucky my best friend is the person I met in college. But, unfortunately, for the most part, people come and go in your life. Mm-hmm. And, it is what it is.
Yeah, they play we all play a role in someone else's story. And sometimes that role ends and their story goes on, and so does ours. One of the things that this made me think about a little bit, though, is there's this. Did you ever see the show Taxi?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Are you aware of it?
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay. So you know that it's and I'm going to say that you know this, but you can just smile on that. You know that it's Judd Hirsch and Mary Lou Henner.
Yes.
And fucking Andy Kaufman and Danny DeVito and Jeff Conaway, right?
Yeah.
Kenickie from Grease.
Oh yeah. I didn't realize that was him.
Yeah, that's Kenickie. So Kenickie's in this show. And one day he is out sick. And drunk or whatever. I mean, he ended up having a lot of problems as a human being, substance-wise. So I don't remember if that was the cause of him being out or whatever, but he was out. And so they had to do a quick rewrite of the show and give all of his jokes to somebody else. I think they gave them to Judd Hirsch. So Alex gets all these funny lines instead of Jeff Conaway's character, whose name I can't remember. Bobby, I think his name is Bobby. And the writers realized we don't need this character anymore.
Shit.
Like, we can just give these jokes to other characters and it works just as well. And Conaway's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So, he missed a day. His replacement took his job. Same thing happens in the movie.
And that is what we dream of, y'all.
Right. But it's also it doesn't always happen because, again, Jimmy Nicol went home. Ringo came back. Ringo's the guy.
Yeah. And but
So
again, he has a great story.
sure, and I mean, I don't know. Maybe it ruined his whole life. I don't know.
Oh God, you're
Like
right.
maybe he spent his life chasing a high he could never get it again. Maybe John Paul and George were mean to him. I really don't know. Like I read a quote that George was like, "We should never have done that. Like if we had been more confident, we would have just said no. Wait till Ringo gets back because Ringo's in the band. Like the Beatles are the four of us, not the three of us and some other guy.
Yeah.
Um, so and they wouldn't have. Like that's when John died. Beatles are done.
Yeah.
Like there is no Beatles. John Scott. Um, so the someplace I think there's a little bit of you are replaceable unless you're not an asshole. Like if everyone loves you, they'll wait for you to get better.
Yeah.
But if you're kind of an asshole, they're gonna move on. You know,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
if it's just infinitely better when they replace you, like suddenly the song is played at the right tempo, and and it's an amazing hit.
Okay, but about that,
Uh huh.
yes, he made the right choice. It's a dick move.
Right.
Like it's
Yeah.
such a dick move. And I
To do it
felt
on stage there. Yeah.
that's the one time I f- I have any empathy for the lead or the lead
Uh huh.
singer being like it's too fast. It's too fast. Like
Right.
yes, I understand the expectation of like well they should be able to adjust, but like if you want it to be good and
Mm-hmm.
you want to be, if you want it to be good and you want to feel good about your performance, you will have practiced it.
Right. Yeah.
And so like guy's kind of a jerk. Well,
Yeah.
not even he's self-centered. He's
Yeah.
a guy. He's self-centered. Is
It's
he
part
like
of this.
which is the line that makes me live without, but like I get it. They're trying to convey a youthful mood, which I'm like, must
Yeah.
have been nice.
Yeah. That big confidence.
Yeah. Give me that.
I just want to be Steve Zahn up there just wisecracking shit.
You know, that's actually who I really try to be in the room. Like
Mm-hmm.
my director earlier, I forget what he was saying about like giving other people notes. And, me and this other girl are like in one part of the show. We don't have
Mm-hmm.
lines or anything. We're just vampire brides. It's fine. Nice work if you can get it. But at one point he goes, "Oh, yeah, and the brides, I didn't get to look at you all, but how did it go?" And I went, "We were perfect."
Yeah. No notes for us.
Like,
Yeah. Fucking
we
nailed
were
that.
exactly how. Listen, if you didn't notice us, that means we were perfect.
That's right. Because if I'd been back there going, you would have noticed me and you would have been like, that is totally incorrect. Don't ever do that again. Also, I think you just hurt your back.
I've heard a lot of things this week. Epsom salts, baby, my new
That's
best
right.
friend.
Soak it up.
Oh yeah,
You got to soak that shit.
I'm gonna put some
Um,
tiger balm on me later.
oh, do it. Bomb that shit. Um, yeah. So I don't know what else about this movie is interesting to you because there's a lot that we could sort of dig into. Um,
I think I can't solidify what this movie was. I don't think this movie picks a stance, but this movie definitely shows that within the arts world, there is you have to figure out where your group is and who your group is because and not even just that you have to find your group but it's do you make art your life or
mhm.
do you make your life art
Okay.
because
So
you have some people in this just having a good time
yeah.
like guy he's just having a good time he just loves music and he is
Mhm.
just there for his own like okay cool but then you've got douchey lead singer guy and
Mhm.
this I mean I'll sell myself out like that was kind of me in high school like this is not for fun this is a
Right.
job
Mhm.
this is my calling and it's true but like there is something to be said for having other things
Right. Yeah,
that
yeah,
you're
yeah.
about
Broaden your scope a bit.
yeah
Yeah. And like I think a different movie puts the lead singers um, here's what's smart about this: centering it on the drummer and not the lead singer allows it to be this joyful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the lead character in the movie is the lead singer, is the guy who wants to write songs and go into the studio and record a new album and take advantage of this moment because this is our chance to catch an even bigger wave. This is a chance to build a career.
Mm-hmm.
And if that guy and his point of view is the central focus of the movie, when that wave crashes at the end, it's devastating.
Yeah.
And you don't have this joyful ride that you have because it's centered on the guy who has it in he's looking at it in just from a different lens, just a slightly different perspective back there behind the kits. He's like, this is fun. I want to play different music, but I want to play. I want to play music. I'll play the shit out of this song because this song fucking slaps. And I'm going to do it State Fair style. But like, if I get a chance to get drunk with this old ass jazz musician, oh man, that's my heaven.
Yeah.
So when the wave crashes, he's already writing another one because he's not that character.
Mm-hmm.
But that lead singer character is so often the focal point of that story. And the one that you're like, that guy's right. You're not supposed to, like, do you want to be just a one hit wonder? No, I want to be more hit wonders. Then
Yeah.
you do what the lead singer says. But this movie says it's kind of fucking great to be a one hit wonder because you had that one hit.
Yeah.
You know, like most people don't get that one hit, and you did.
Do
You
what
know, and
feels right for you. If it's,
yeah,
yeah, do what feels right for you.
go off to war, TB player, the
Like,
bass
like,
player.
like Russell says in Almost Famous, write what you want.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like that's why I think this movie is so good. Is because Tom Hanks looked at it and said, like, the Jimmy Nichols story is a joyful story for
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Nichols, not how sad is it that he didn't get to continue on with the Beatles, or how sad is it for Ringo who was sitting at home with tonsillitis, or like, because it's for the Beatles, it's a blip. You know,
Yeah.
it's a week in the middle of the craziest thing that's ever happened, but
Mm-hmm.
it's a week and moving on.
Yeah.
Like I was reading a thing about it today, and they brought him into the studio to like learn those songs, and he did, and he left, and the three of them stayed and continued to work on. They didn't record that; there was just practice. Then he left, and they went back to work on songs for their next album
Wow.
because like the Beatles were insane. Like their output is it's so crazy. The number I think they were two albums and at least two singles a year for the first few years.
Wow.
And yeah, and written while they're on the road, recorded in borrowed studio time, when they could get it. Like, it was what they were able to accomplish in the amount of time they were able to accomplish it is unreal. And that's how we're going to audition Jimmy here, and then let's get back to work on the next album.
Yeah.
You know, because that's one kind of success story, right? In the music
Sure.
business is they had a hit and they didn't just fade away. They had a second song and they had an album and the album killed. And, but Tom Hanks said the one hit wonder story is kind of glorious and we should revel in it a little bit.
Not to mention, people think they want fame.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, I can't speak to this because I have no idea. But I would say a lot of times, especially nowadays, because there are more and more people achieving, a 15-minute of fame kind of thing. And it's intense and it's coming
Mm-hmm.
at them everywhere. It's no longer just in public, it's now virtual and it's
Yeah.
I would say, worse than ever.
Mhm.
I think a lot of people are realizing they would rather be like have the because I've often thought, you know what, I want Judy Greer. I could maybe handle Judy Greer level of fame. You know, she's working. People know her as like, hey, I know you're in something.
Right.
I'll take even less than that. I just want to be working. And I think that's
Right.
ultimately what a lot of people want. But in the arts, you're kind of made to feel like, well, if you're not pushing beyond that, then what are you even doing?
Hmm. Right.
And I think we need to,
I'm creating. That's what I'm doing.
yeah, I think there needs to be a lot more space and adoration given to, like we were discussing earlier, we need to start promoting more people who, like, hey, they didn't do method. How awesome is that? They had a
Right.
good time creating this character. They built connections and they
Hmm.
didn't want to kill themselves.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Thumbs up for that. Play
You know,
pretend, everybody.
if we stop promoting the
Right.
tortured, and how romantic it is, like
Hmm.
maybe we would have healthier artists out there. Maybe we would have less assholes pursuing, you know, this
Hmm.
field.
Maybe, you know what, we could have more call me maybes.
Sure.
Like, more of the. I give me all of the Carly Rae Jepsen. I'll take it all. Call me
Walter
maybe is glorious.
Walter would be right there with you. Hey, that song would translate perfectly to trying to get an agent or a manager.
Sure. Yes. That song, if you don't like that song, here it is. You ready for it? Here comes an edict. If you don't like that song, you don't like fun things. It. That song is just fun, fucking nonstop from start to finish. I love that song.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Power Pop is wonderful.
same with movies like this. We need more fun stuff. There's plenty
Yeah.
of room. And yeah, there's plenty of room for all the heavy shit, but like what's wrong with enjoying a Marvel film? What's wrong
You
with
can.
enjoying a
Totally.
happy musical? You know?
Yep.
Like
Mm-hmm. Things can be fun. Let's just
things
have
can
some
be
fun.
let's have fun again.
All right. I feel like that's a terrible segue for Adventures in Intimacy.
It's not terrible, although I
Okay.
fear I may crush you with my thoughts on one thing. I'm going to
Okay.
jump right into the main problem I have.
Okay.
Why is there a romantic subplot?
Okay.
It doesn't, hear me out for a minute, because I don't think it helps the story at all. I think we
Mhm.
can still have Faye be a part of this. And if you really want her to still be dating someone in order to get her on tour with this band, fine. But I don't think it makes sense for her to end up with Guy in the end because Guy doesn't look all that great in the beginning in terms of like
Mhm.
boyfriend material and all that. And I don't need to look on him more favorably because outside of Faye, he starts to improve as a person.
Mhm.
You know, we see more of
Yeah.
what his whole thing is about. And like I just think that there are other ways we could have moved Faye's storyline along other than make her the object of affection or like why did we need a romance to put I don't know the final nail in the not the coffin because it's a happy thing but the final nail in the picture frame or something like
Yeah.
this movie already had a semi-happy ending. I don't
Right.
understand why romance is here and I wonder that for a lot of movies.
I have an idea, and
Okay.
it's a little bit of a messy idea, but follow me.
Okay.
Um, at first, the reason Faye is in this movie is because Cynthia Lennon existed.
Okay.
Okay. So when the Beatles got together, John was married. Like,
Yes.
not when they got together, but like when they came to America, John was
Oh,
married.
oh, I forgot that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, he was married to Cynthia. And like Julian was born in 65. So, um, and when they played Ed Sullivan and they put the title cards up, just like they do in this movie, right? John, Paul, George, Ringo. When it said John, it said in parentheses underneath it, sorry, girls, he's married. And that is, I think, why Faye is in this movie. So that when they do that, they can make the sorry, girls, he's engaged joke. Like, it's it's part of the construction so that when they get there, they can do that. Um,
Sure.
so and I'm not quite there yet, but I'm almost there.
Okay.
So you have to start with her in a relationship with this guy, right? So then what role does she have? Is she Yoko? Does she
Mm,
break the band up? No, we don't want to do that. That's not what this story is. Also, let's all leave Yoko alone at
yes,
this point.
please stop.
Just leave Yoko alone. But like that trope, right? Okay, so we're not going to do that. We don't want her to do nothing
Yeah.
other than just sit on the sidelines, which is like Cynthia didn't go on tour. Like sometimes she did, but mostly she was back home. Like, do you want the story to be he's engaged to Liv Tyler, but he's fucking people up and down the road? Probably not.
You.
So, like, if their relationship isn't central, which it isn't, but she's central,
Mm-hmm.
there has to be something happening for her. Otherwise, it's a really shitty female character. Like she's just there for a parenthetical,
I
and so then you have to do something to
yeah,
resolve her story at the end, and that I guess is the Shades thing.
sure. And
Like it's not perfect, but I
yeah,
that's kind of how I think you end up there.
that makes sense. I still don't like it. Um, Especially because
Get
it
it?
puts lines like, when is the last time you were properly kissed? Fuck
Right.
you. Out of here. You're fucking 21. How many of you people whatever. I can't even speak. I hate that line so much.
If they were
What
Dylan, they would have kissed a lot of people. Oh, by the time they were, remember how many people Dylan fucked before he got with Brenda? Yeah.
a lot of women, kid.
Dylan
Why
Dylan
would I
wore
let
a
you?
condom. He wore a condom most of the time, you guys. That's how many times this 17-year-old had sex. Most of the time.
I just thinking off the top of my head because there will be at least one person out there like, okay, well then what would you have done instead?
Sure.
All right, on a whim, I would have been perfectly fine with guys saying like, listen, you don't like why go home yet? Like they could have established more of a friendship between them and like the hint that maybe something will happen someday and then it's in the epilogue. Like I think that's fine.
Mhm.
It takes away some of I don't remember his character name, but he plays Principal Green on Dawson's Creek and I loved seeing him. But he's the doorman. I
Oh,
thought that
okay.
yeah.
Oh,
I
okay. Yeah.
should know that actor's name, but he's great.
Yeah.
Um,
There's another thing you could have done with her. You could have made her Linda. You
okay.
could have made her you could have made her Linda McCartney. Like you could have shown her as someone. I mean, Linda was a photographer, so you could have
Hmm.
done that. But what I meant more was Linda sang harmonies and played keyboards in Wings. Like
Ooh,
after the Beatles broke up and Paul started the next band, he wanted to tour the world with his wife. He didn't want to like spend all of his time away from her, so he put her in the band, and she got a lot of shit for her backing vocals.
of
A
course she
lot
did.
of shit. Um,
And then maybe
but
that's what
if you had,
Guy and Faye do. Like he
yeah,
realizes that like maybe we have she joins him on the session and he's like, you can sing
yeah,
or you
right.
can
Well,
play. Like,
you can play the keyboard. I didn't know you could do that. She's
that's what
like,
he
yeah,
told
I've learned.
that would have been fantastic. That would have been far more interesting. I just feel like when they play into this, we need to have a romance. It
Yeah,
feels like you're trying to get women interested in this movie and implying that women are only interested in romantic storylines.
right.
And then also it just I'm sorry, Tom Hanks. It feels like you didn't know what to do there or didn't have any more creativity. Like the
Yeah.
focus was the band, keep it on the band.
Hmm.
So
I would have liked. I think I would have liked it if she had become Linda, and and then they can still get together if you want to, but then they're going off and playing music together. I mean, people kind of hated on Linda, so whatever. But People hated on Yoko too.
Yeah.
So it,
They hated
but
on the women who
storyline
felt
wise,
broke the
yeah,
Beatles.
yeah, yeah. They didn't hate Patty, even though she cheated on George with Eric Clapton and then divorced George and married Eric Clapton. Oh yeah, Patty Boyd Harrison. There was a whole thing going on there.
I don't know anything
You're not
about her.
okay. Here's really all you need to know. The song "Something" by the Beatles.
Oh.
That's about her. The entire album, Layla and Other Assorted Love Songs, including the song Layla, written by Eric Clapton, are about her. The song Wonderful Tonight by Eric Clapton, written about her. Three of the most amazing songs in the history of music were written about this woman. So I don't know what else you need to know, but you know that. Like,
Yeah.
Patty Boyd Harrison, she got under the skin of some of these dudes, man. Yeah. And George met her she's in A Hard Day's Night. She's one of the schoolgirls in it. He met her on the set.
Oh, dear.
It's cute. It's a sweet scene. They meet on the train and like
Aw.
they're playing in like the luggage hold where their instruments are kept. And there's like girls there that are like watching and sort of doing this. And she's one of those girls. And that's where he met her. So I mean, could have gone that way, but people don't seem to be mad at Patty. But I think those songs are really good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Some other, I wanted to note some of the things that I liked, like some not weird, but I would say unconventional moments of intimacy that I really liked. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, people aren't going to think of this as intimacy, especially one of them. Like, I don't think you would need an IC for this, but at the same time, like it's a character showing I care about you and I see you. So I'll start there. When Tom Hanks correctly says the Wonders,
Yes.
I'm like, oh, that's poignant.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is he trying to just get a job? Absolutely.
Right.
But the way he keeps eye contact, like in that scene especially,
Yeah.
is great. And it's such a power thing. It's very calm. I mean, he doesn't lose his cool at all. Like, no, I understand. If you want to stay with this guy, totally. You can keep playing all this and that, and yeah,
Right.
just stay D-list for all I care. I'm good.
Oh, the Wonders. Like, I wonder what happened to the Oneders.
And then, oh man, I really love. There's such great connection amongst the whole group when they're all running and finding each other when the song's playing on the radio.
Yeah,
And
that scene is glorious.
so glorious. I mean, the running in right after each other, finding each other and like grabbing, screaming,
Mm-hmm.
turning on all the radios, and eventually they're all just in this big circle doing like a ring around the rosy thing. It's delightful.
It's so fun.
Good. And you only get that by building a rapport with your cast. By establishing this is a playful environment. You all are kids. This is like the greatest thing that you could have ever conceived. Great.
Yeah, our song's on the fucking radio. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene is the heart of the movie. I mean, it's wonderful.
And like, so that's where I feel this story served friendships better than relationships. Guy and Charlize Theron, nothing.
Right.
Lead singer and Liv Tyler, nothing. I felt nothing between these two, and there just clearly wasn't any time. I mean, maybe they wanted them to be somewhat stagnant, but it felt too empty. It felt too void of anything, you know?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It's it's a better friendship movie than any of those other things for sure.
And at the end of the day, friendships are the best ships, so
right.
Have more.
And you know who steers those ships? Cap'n Geech and the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
Hell yeah.
Cap'n Geech.
And the Shrimp Shack Shooters.
It's so silly. I love it so much. Any more intimacy?
Nah.
All right, let's climb on board and sail with Captain Geech into Needle Drop Forest. So the Needle
What?
Drop is that yeah. What song could we possibly talk about?
No idea what we're going to talk about this.
Um, that thing you do. That song is so fucking good. Like that song is so good that they play it 11 times in the movie and you never once for 1 second get tired of it.
No.
Every time it kicks in, it feels great, that song. And it's, as we discussed off mic, but as everyone knows or should know, that song was written by Adam Schlesinger, who was one of the founders of Fountains of Wayne. Fountains of Wayne of Stacy's Mom fame. Not a one-hit wonder, because Fountains of Wayne have like 70 amazing fucking songs that everyone should know and listen to. Radiation Vibe, Leave the Biker, I mean, just The Girl I Can't Forget, Maureen. I mean, song. Fountains of Wayne are awesome, and I love them, and I'm sad that they are no more. But the thing that I think is so cool about this whole thing is that they had a contest. They had people just send in songs and to find the right one, because they knew that you were going to have to play this song a million times in production.
Mm-hmm.
One. And it has to not drive the cast crazy and the crew crazy. But it has to not kill the audience. It has to be great all the way through. And they had something like 300 submissions.
Wow.
And what I want, maybe not more than anything, but it's high on the list of things I didn't know I wanted, but now I very much want, is like an Apple or Spotify playlist of those 300 entries. I want to hear them all.
Yes.
Or only give me the 60 that are good. Like, because I'm sure a bunch of them are crap. You know, like some of them are just not going to be good. But
yeah,
I want to hear it.
If we, again, manifesting the wildest people we could find, the Sexperts Go Home guy, and
yes, that guy.
This could be even better, honestly. Like if we could hear at least 10 of the submissions, listeners.
Yeah.
You know,
I want to hear more of these songs.
Yes.
Not because I think that they'll be better than this one, because they won't be. This song's perfect. This song, it has to be this song. But I want to hear what the other ideas were.
What if one of the bands that submitted was Cap'n Geech and the Shrimp Shack Shooters?
From the beach?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Yeah. I want to hear without. I mean, they had a creative brief. You know, they were like, it's a movie set in this time period. We want it to evoke these kind of things. And one of the things I was reading was that when they were writing the song, it's basically, and I'm going to say things that I can't back up with, so don't ask me follow-up questions.
Okay.
But it's a 1-4-5. It's a real simple rock and roll chord progression, and it's all major keys. It's all happy and bouncy and stuff. But they knew that like it needed to be sort of Beatles inspired, so they went back to some Beatles songs. That had sort of that chord progression to see what the Beatles did, and it was I think it was "And I Love Her" was the one they found.
Okay.
I think I'd have to look, where it's the same chord structure, and then when they go to the bridge, there's a turn to like a minor key.
Man,
and it shifts the balance of the song. And so they put that into this, and it does the same exact thing. You know?
I could kick myself now because I was thinking earlier this week, I was thinking about this song and about songs from that era, and I kept getting hung up on the fact that, like, it's not a breakup song, but it's, you know, a longing for someone that is breaking your heart kind of song, to a very to an up tempo, which is funny.
Right.
A lot of, I won't say a lot, I can't think of other examples, but I know other songs do that because that's just
Help.
Music for you. Yeah.
I mean, Help is John Lennon said, I was standing on stage screaming, help me. But because it was a toe tapper, you didn't know that I was in trouble.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like that's what that was during what he called his Fat Elvis period. Like he was like, I was eating everything. Look at me. Look how round I was. And I'm telling you I need help. Ah,
When you look like someone who doesn't need help and is always happy, it's very hard to convince people otherwise. I know not of what I speak.
don't I know it?
But yeah, I thought so much about like, oh, I should really look into early Beatles stuff because I guarantee I would find something
Yeah,
um, that
and
is similar
and
to this.
I'll find the thing I was reading, and because it might have even been, I don't remember where it was. But I'll find it and send it to you. But
Please.
it's yeah, but it was just about how they had this song and it was good, and then they went back and listened to what the Beatles did and went, oh, let's do that, and that was next gear stuff. So Tom Hanks, I want this playlist. Like, I'd like you to come on this show too, but whatever. I want this playlist. Pretty please.
Tom Hanks, I need this to be a Broadway musical also. Like, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there you go.
I'm sure people are tired of movies being turned into musicals, whatever. Like, find the good stuff.
All right. What else time? Is this anybody's defining role?
Uh, yeah, for the fact that I have to say the person who plays Guy Masterson, the person who plays the lead singer, um,
No, sure.
those two for sure.
Which
No
one's
one
Guy,
else.
Matt? Who's Guy?
I don't remember. Listen, I only
Okay.
care about Steve Zahn and Ethan Embry because I constantly confuse them. Uh,
Oh,
Shoutouts to my friend Sierra. I finally got it right
good job.
in my brain. No one
Um,
can see that I pictured the right people, but I did.
good job. No, I appreciate it. I feel good about it. Um, this is not Steve Zahn's defining role, but it really could be. It's not
It
for me.
No, that would be like maybe Reality Bites.
For me, every time I see him, he's DJ Davis from the show Treme.
Oh,
Yeah, he played um, he played this guy named DJ Davis. He was a disc jockey, and he's such a clown. He's so funny, but he's based on a real person. And this real person, this real DJ, one of the things he did that I think is so funny is the the Utah Jazz basketball team used to be the New Orleans Jazz, and then they
oh,
moved to Utah, but they kept the name, which makes no fucking sense. That's why Utah Jazz is like, what the hell is that? New Orleans Jazz, that makes perfect sense. I get why the team was named that. New Orleans got a team, I don't know, 20 years ago, and this guy went on a crusade to get the team named the New Orleans Tabernacle Choir so that he could force a name swap.
nice.
Yeah, I'm like, that is such a great idea. I'm so behind this. But so Steve Zahn plays DJ Davis in Treme, and he has that energy, and he's got the same energy as Lenny in this, where he's just a goofball and funny, and um,
He's also
so
in
that's
You've
who he
Got
is.
Mail, and he plays this delightfully droll
Mm,
character. Um,
okay, I never saw that one. More Tom Hanks stuff.
oh yeah. Well, yeah. Now I can't make my joke like, oh yeah, this is definitely Tom Hanks's defining role. I've never seen that kid again.
I
Um,
know, right?
but yeah,
Um, did you? You might not have. This is another one of those you're too young kind of things. But did you catch the Peter Scolari in it? Do you know who Peter Scolari is?
maybe by face.
Probably. Uh, in the movie, I think he plays like the he's on TV. He's one of the people on TV. Maybe the Ed Sullivan kind of guy. I don't really
Oh,
remember.
okay.
Anyway, uh, Peter Scolari is known for a couple things. One, he played Michael on Newhart, like
Oh, okay.
the one that's set in the inn in Vermont. He and Julia Duffy are like the young rich kids, and they're so yuppie. It's so funny. Um, so he's known as that. He did that for like 8 years. But what he's most known for probably is starring opposite Tom Hanks in Bosom Buddies, which was their first TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a show I loved, like really loved that show. I was like 7, and it only lasted for a season, but I loved it, and it had the Billy Joel song "My Life" as the theme song,
Nice.
which I associate quite closely. But so Scolari shows up in a lot of Tom Hanks stuff. If Tom Hanks has the chance, he casts his friend. So Scolari's in this. I was like, there he is.
Nice.
So just makes me happy. So yeah, I don't know that this is anybody's defining role, but it's but everybody's so good in it, you know.
This is inconsequential to anything really, but fine for me. Again, for anyone else out there who suffers from confusing actors with other actors, fucking blame the casting agents, because clearly there are like trends in you know, because you get these directors who are like, I want a so and so kind of person. It's like,
Give me
okay,
Brad Pitt type.
Yeah, give me a Laura Linney type. And then they just get Laura Linney. Love Actually, true story.
Yeah.
But the kid who plays Guy Masterson, I was like, he looks just like the guy who plays Josh in Big, but then also the lead in Newsies when he's older. It's not the same guy, but they look so similar. You know, they've got that like light, delightfully curly mop. Or are they home?
Yeah, they do. But it's I did read one of the things is Liam's dancing in front of me for reasons no one knows.
Give him a dollar.
Is Guy Masterson Shades? Is that who that is? Oh, it's Tom Everett Scott is his name. And they almost didn't cast him because Tom Hanks is like, I think he looks too much like a young me.
Oh my god! And yes.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks was totally aware of it, but like they couldn't find anybody, and he brought it home, and he told Rita Wilson this, and she's like, let me see him, and she's like, I mean, kinda, but is he right for the role? And he's like, yeah, he is, and she's like, then don't worry about it, and so they cast him, and he's right for the role. He's really good.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, it was like he looks a little bit like, and young Tom Hanks, you know, Josh from Big obviously is young Tom Hanks. So you're seeing what he was seeing.
Yeah, and he later on, that young Josh later on is one of the leads in Newsies, which we will eventually watch for this pod.
Okay.
Know it.
We'll figure it out. Okay. Do you have a what else? Because I had a what else that I texted you earlier.
Oh, go ahead with that because I'm excited.
Okay.
I have my answers.
All right, cool. So what is your favorite one-hit wonder?
Can I give
and
two?
Let me you absolutely can, but let me clarify this for the people out there. Because I've had this discussion on Facebook. A one-hit wonder to me is someone who has one hit. Like, so if you say this was an example that was used and I shot it down because I was like, it just doesn't fucking count as a one-hit wonder. Someone said It Takes Two by MC Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. It takes two to make a thing go right. Mm-hmm. Huge hit, right? They had another hit called Joy and Pain. They just did. It charted higher than It Takes Two. Like a couple spots higher. It was an equal level hit. Just because you don't remember it, just because the only one you remember is It Takes Two, doesn't mean that they're a one-hit wonder. Rob Bass is a two-hit wonder. So stuff like that. Like if someone who is reasonably familiar with the genre would go, that person had a second hit, it doesn't count as a one-hit wonder. So I don't know if that applies to anything you're thinking of. I just was like, it's important to say.
I don't think it does. But okay. You can correct me. This first one, well, anyway, I'm pretty sure the first one I'm going to list doesn't have any other hits because it's Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer.
Yeah, I don't think they really did have any other hits. And I listened to that entire album. It's a really good song. And I'm pretty sure I listened to that album like a million times. So
yeah.
But I agree. Although I think they did do, I don't know if this counts as a hit, but they did do a song on a soundtrack that I'm blanking on right now.
Well, that one is
But
like on a million '90s teen
it really is.
rom-com
Mm-hmm.
soundtracks.
Yeah.
My other one,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a hard time believing this is a one-hit wonder because it's so good, but isn't that the beauty of one-hit wonders? So
Mm-hmm.
correct me if I'm wrong, but Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds?
Yeah, I don't know if they had a. I feel like there's probably a song of theirs that I know, but I'm gonna look them up real fast and see if there's. And I'm not gonna like be like, no, I'm pedantic man.
And that's fine. The my basis of research was looking on Spotify, and I picked a
Yeah.
playlist that I felt trustworthy because it was near the top.
Okay. They did have a. I don't think they count because they have the song "Alive and Kicking."
It
Um.
seemed it didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So
Stay until your love is alive and kicking. Like that was a pretty big hit. Um.
well then I'm glad I had
So
because Kiss Me was my original one, but then when I saw
yep.
Don't You Forget
It's a
About
great.
Me, I was like, whoa,
It's a great song.
it's a great song.
Yeah. Um. All right. I have two that I know were one hit wonders. One of them. Um. One of them is like this can't be the best anything. It just can't. Except for it perfectly executes what it is, maybe more than anything not done by AC/DC.
Okay.
I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred.
Oh my god.
That song is perfect for what it is, which
Sure.
is a total fucking novelty, just silly from the start to the finish, self-aware of its own ridiculousness, and fun as fuck. It just is. So
Always hated it.
I'm not saying you have to love it, but I'm saying it's perfect for what it is. It's so silly. But my answer, and this, I'm amazed that this is my answer because when this song came out, I didn't like it because I just wasn't into this kind of music when it came out. But what I've since realized in the 25 years or so since this song came out is that if you listen to this song enough, you are going to get at least a 25% increase in swagger. You're going to go from walking to strutting.
Oh.
You're going to carry yourself just a little more funky.
Oh.
And that song is Return of the Mac by Mark Morrison.
Wow.
That song is awesome. It is like it's got this beat that just moves the song, and then there's this background vocal and people like and him just going, yes I did, up and down, around and around. Like it all works so perfectly, and it's like, and it's this big like, it's a feel good comeback song. While I sing my comeback song, and it's, and also he has this like weird British accent that he is in this song. You lied to me. I just love it. It's so silly.
So he sounds like a Craig.
Yeah, probably. But I just fucking love the song. It is a great one hit wonder. More songs should be like Return to the Mac. That's what I think.
All right.
So, and there are a bajillion great one hit wonders. Just because I didn't say "Come On Eileen" by Dexy's Midnight Runner doesn't mean I don't love it.
Sure.
Because I do.
I'm just tired of my Spotify liked songs playing it because I'm like, okay, I like it. Stop always playing it for me.
Yeah, we can move on. We can move on.
Got 300 other liked songs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Switch it up, Spotify.
Yeah. Jesus.
Assholes. I'm just taking shots at Spotify for no reason at all. Um, any other what else's for you?
No, but we're doing EST, right?
Yes, we are. What is this the EST of?
Oh man, this is the happiest movie about a band.
It's pretty great. It's pretty happy.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I like it a lot.
I can't think of anything.
Um, there were so many superlatives with this movie. Like this is like the catchiest song in a movie, like almost maybe ever. Um, but the thing that I landed on was like this movie is the best way to be exploited,
Okay.
right? Because they just are like they're exploited by the music industry. They're like they're told what they have to do. They're forced to hold this contract until I quit or however he sings it. Um yeah, like they're every step along the way they are used until the song becomes a dried husk. Like
Hmm.
the whole point is like Tom Hanks is like, "Can you make it to August?" And the guy's like, "I got to ship out in July." He's like, "That's probably fine."
Yeah.
You know, like the song ain't gonna last that long. We're gonna squeeze every last dollar out of it that we can. You guys are gonna have a great summer, and that's pretty much gonna be the end of it.
Yeah.
And so it's exploitation start to finish. But I'm not sure I can think of a happier way to be exploited.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So that thing you do is a fun movie.
It is fun. I liked it a lot.
I did too. And we have once again proven my theory that everything comes back to Aaron Spelling.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Even that thing you do. Um, so next week, Cheesemeisters, we're gonna do another one that Leslie hasn't seen before, and one I'm excited to watch because it's a movie I find very funny. It fits into there's a strong amount of '80s smartassery involved in this movie. We're gonna watch Real Genius starring Val Kilmer and
Sweet.
yeah, and Uncle Rico who lives in a closet. Um,
I'm pretty sure we passed where Uncle Rico lives on the drive down from New York to Indiana.
oh, nice! Like, was there a football flying over a mountain or?
No, I just saw that there was like, you know how sometimes people like set up tents and stuff in those like plots of land by an
Hmm?
overpass. Someone
Yeah,
had
sure.
set up not only their mobile home, but also had like a small garden or something there. And I was like,
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's where Uncle Rico lives.
They have a camera out there doing.
I didn't see, sadly.
That would be great. Um, but yeah, we're gonna watch Real Genius, so I'm excited about that. I haven't seen that movie in a long time, and it makes me laugh. So
Can't wait.
yeah, it'll be a good one. So until then, Cheesemeisters,
Cheers.
cheers.